His charm, his confidence, his iron fist on a family of 4 wives and close to 20 children. The cameras have recorded it all, but behind the flash of sister wives, a sordid tale is unfolding, one that will destroy Kody Brown's well-crafted reputation once and for all. Tonight we lift the veil on his destruction and the betrayals no one ever imagined. But before we get into it, I want to know what you think. Does Kody deserve redemption, or has he already gone too far? Leave your opinions in the comments as we get started. The living room is weighted. The cameras are on, but this time there's no laughter, no joking about who makes dinner or whose family night is up. Rather than turning his back to her though, Kody stands in the middle of the room, arms crossed, his face mask-like with frustration. Christine perches on the edge of the couch, eyes red from weeping. Meri sits stiffly, jaw clenched, while Janelle refuses to meet anyone's eye. And Robyn, Kody's so-called favorite wife, continues to wring her hands as if she's privy to what's going to be shared. This is not the neat Kody America is accustomed to witnessing. His hair is mussed, his voice trembling, and his temper simmering perilously close to eruption. The cameras for TLC were supposed to be recording a family that was living with love, religion, and polygamy. But now, it resembles trial evidence. Kody bangs his hand on the coffee table. "You all think I'm the bad guy," he snaps, his voice ringing. "But you don't know what it takes to hold this family together. None of you." Christine finally talks, her voice biting. "Holding us together? Kody, you're the reason we're breaking up. You promised all of us things, and you've broken every one of them." The quiet that ensues is oppressive. Even the camera crew appears paralyzed, not wanting to breathe too hard. And then it occurs. A new video, one that TLC never intended to show, leaks onto the internet. And an instant later, millions of devotees watch Kody Brown, not as the doting father, but as a man losing it in the moment. The video goes viral. Kody yelling, Kody leaving the family home, Kody referring to his wives as ungrateful. His reputation as the tough patriarch and man of faith starts to crumble. And for the first time, the world gets a glimpse of the cracks that were hiding in plain sight. The irony, the video wasn't leaked by an outsider. It was leaked from within the family itself. But which wife was the traitor? And why now? If you think this was explosive, just wait. The next revelation will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about sister wives. The leak exploded like a bombshell. Fans inundated social media with shock, outrage, and betrayal. They had followed for years as the Browns portrayed their lives as a dysfunctional but working family held together by religion and loyalty. But the clip revealed a different story, one of manipulation, rage, and a man desperate to hold on to control. In Flagstaff, the repercussions were instant. Christine's phone rang constantly with messages of encouragement. Some told her that she was a hero. Others inquired as to whether she was finally going to leave. She didn't respond. Instead, she sat in her kitchen, gazing at the light of her laptop screen as the clip repeated over and over. Each repetition was like pulling off an old scab. At the same time, Kody burst into Robyn's home. His boots pounded the wooden floor, his face red with anger. Robyn stood waiting at the door, her eyes already brimming with tears. "Kody," she whispered, "you must calm down." "Calm down?" he shouted. "This is sabotage. There is someone in this family who wants to see me ruined, and I won't rest until I know who it is." Robyn attempted to put a hand on his arm, but he flinched away. The camera crew, although smaller than normal, was still present, recording each fiery word. And for the very first time, Robyn did not protect him. She looked tired, beaten even, as if the burden of being the favorite had finally crushed her spirit. On the other side of town, Janelle sat silently in her vehicle. She hadn't uttered much at the confrontation, but her silence had been deafening. Now she relived the moment in her head, her fingers tightening around the steering wheel with each recollection. Kody's words weren't only brutal, they were cruel. And Janelle, who had always been the level-headed one, the dependable one, found herself doubting everything. She whispered to herself, maybe Christine was right, maybe we've been living a lie. But the question still hung in the air. Who leaked the footage? Meri, perhaps, tired of being ignored, sidelined, and publicly humiliated after decades of loyalty? Christine, ready to burn the bridge completely on her way out? Or maybe Janelle, the quiet strategist, who'd finally had enough of being overlooked. One thing was sure. The betrayal was internal. And that awareness shredded Kody into more than the tape itself. Days afterward, they had all reconvened, this time under the dark cloud of suspicion. No eyes met. The air had a hint of coffee and stale pizza, leftovers from a long night when nobody actually ate. The tension was palpable. Kody strode back and forth in the room, like a wild animal, his voice lowered, dangerous. One of you did this. One of you wants me killed. And I swear, I'll discover who. Christine's eyes narrowed. Perhaps you should be wondering why any of us would. The silence hung heavy. Meri fidgeted uncomfortably. Robyn wiped at her eyes, and Janelle's jaw clenched. It was a moment that seemed more like a family reunion, and less like the start of a trial. And just before Kody could unleash another rant, a knock on the door broke the silence. A manila envelope was slipped in. Kody tore it open, and what he discovered within turned his face white. If you thought that the leaked clip was nasty, what Kody discovers in that envelope may just be the last nail in his public reputation. Kody's fingers trembled as he ripped open the manila envelope. The family leaned forward, their gazes riveted on him, as if the truth was going to be revealed right there in the living room. A hodgepodge of printed photos, grainy screenshots from text messages and emails. His jaw clenched as he scrolled through them. What is this? Robyn's voice broke with terror. Kody did not respond. He tossed the photographs on the coffee table, spilling them like shattered glass. Christine gasped. Janelle covered her mouth with a hand. Even Meri, who had learned to protect her feelings, couldn't conceal the shock. The images uncovered secret talks, texts sent in the wee hours of the morning, furious admissions about Kody, hidden resentments about the family, and talks of abandoning ship. But the worst of the worst was at the bottom of the pile. A string of communication with someone beyond the family. Someone affiliated with TLC. Kody's tone was low, fuming. One of you did not just leak the clip. One of you has been feeding them all this. Christine's face reddened with anger. Don't you dare look at me, Kody. I don't need to leak anything. The entire world can see the truth every time you open your mouth. Robyn's eyes shot around the room. This isn't fair. We can't accuse one another without evidence. But as she spoke, her voice shook, revealing the fear she contained. Janelle finally spoke up. Maybe the evidence is in our faces. Maybe one of us had finally had enough. The room descended into pandemonium. Voices collided. Accusations, denials, sobbing. The cameraman continued to roll, capturing every shriek, every glare, every wagging finger. And as Kody's voice became louder among the cacophony, there was no remnant of the charming patriarch in sight, only a man losing it. Do you know what this signifies? Kody yelled, his face red. This family is finished. All that we worked for is gone. Not by outsiders but by one of you. For an instant there was silence once more. Christine looked at him with cold, hard eyes. Meri's lip quivered, as if she would say something but couldn't. Robyn hid her face in her hands, and Janelle faced Kody straight on, unflinching. Perhaps destruction is what we require. The room came to a standstill. Even the cameras stopped, as if the air had been taken from the room. Kody blinked in shock. Janelle's voice wasn't trembling. It was calm, almost menacingly so. She wasn't the quiet peacemaker for the first time. She was the teller of truths. Christine leaned forward, speaking in almost a whisper. She's right. Meri gazed downward, saying nothing, her hands curling in her lap. And in the silence, Kody came to the unthinkable. He wasn't merely losing control of the story, he was losing his wives. But before anyone could get another word in, Kody's phone rang on the table. He looked down at the screen, and his face went white as a ghost. There was a new message, and this time the sender was not unknown. It was from within his own production crew. The letter was unexpected, but this text message, this is where the actual betrayal comes into play. And it's worse than Kody could have ever envisioned. The air in the room seemed to catch its breath as Kody's phone vibrated again. His hand hovered above it, shaking before finally turning the screen towards himself. His eyes flicked back and forth, reading the words, and then, his shoulders sagged. Kody Brown had never looked beaten before. Is what? Christine snapped, her tone sharp. Kody swallowed. His voice was a croak, barely above a whisper. It's a letter from one of the producers. They know it all. Every fight, every betrayal. Someone's been granting them direct access. The silence that fell was heavier than any fight. The wives looked at each other, suspicion cutting through the air like a knife. The cameras continuing to roll, closed in, the kind of silence that screams volumes without saying anything. Janelle leaned forward, her eyes narrowing. Who was it, Kody? Whose name is in that message? He shook his head. They didn't say, just that the leak wasn't an accident. It's been deliberate, ongoing. Christine's voice broke the silence. So this is what it's come to? We're not even a family anymore. We're just storylines to be sold. Robyn gripped her chest, her eyes welling with tears. No, Christine, don't say that. We are a family. We need to trust each other. But the words sounded hollow. Even she didn't sound convinced. Meri, who had been ominously silent throughout the night, finally broke her silence. Her voice was low and brittle. Maybe trust left this family a long time ago. They all looked at her. Meri's eyes shone, but her face was grim. Do you know the feeling of giving your entire life to something, finding out you were invisible? Perhaps one of us spilled it. Perhaps not. But here's what I will tell you. The world needs to know who you truly are, Kody. The words hurt more than the leaked clip, more than the envelope. Because for the first time, Kody didn't scream. He didn't bang on the table. He just glared at Meri, as if he was looking at her after all these years, and noticing that she was no longer scared of him. Christine relaxed, folding her arms. She's right. You can yell all you want about betrayal. But perhaps betrayal is the only thing you speak. The pressure wound up tighter and tighter until, bang, Kody just snapped. He stood tall, his fingers shaking in their faces, his voice shaking with fury. You think you can turn this on me? You think I'm the bad guy? When this goes on the air, when the world sees it, you'll wish you never crossed me. But before the words had fallen, Janelle rose too. Her serenity was ice cold. No, Kody, the only regret here is that it took us this long to face the truth. The room exploded. Robyn crying, Christine lashing back with years of pent-up anger, Meri pulling back into speechlessness, but not breaking Kody's gaze. And the cameras rolled, recording each raw second, each tear, each betrayal. And then the phone rang again. Another message, this one brief and mysterious, from the same producer. If you think this is bad, wait until tomorrow's footage airs. The wives froze. Even Kody, usually so brash, looked shaken. What was coming next? What footage could be worse than what they'd already seen? You might think you've witnessed the worst of Kody's downfall, but what's about to be revealed next could destroy the Brown family forever. Morning dawned like a tempest. The sun rose above Flagstaff, but the Brown family remained in shadows. No one slept. Each wife bore the burden of fear within her, and Kody's anger was rivaled only by his terror. When the video did air, it wasn't a snippet of name-calling or shouting matches. It was unedited, unfiltered proof of what the cameras had recorded, but never meant to display. The screen came to life. Kody in the dead of night, pacing back and forth in the kitchen, having no idea that a hidden microphone was still active. His words rang out through the kitchen. They think they can live without me? They think they can walk away? I'll ruin them. I'll ruin Christine. I'll ruin Janelle. Even Meri. And if Robyn thinks she's untouchable, she's wrong too. They're nothing without me. Gasps filled the family living room. Christine's hand went to her mouth, tears streaming down her face. Janelle turned white with shock. Robyn sat there rigidly, as if her body could not believe what her mind was hearing. And Meri simply nodded slowly, as if each word validated what she knew all along. Kody threw himself at the TV, attempting to switch it off, but it was too late. The truth was out, irrefutable, naked, sinister. His wives gazed at him not in fear, but in clarity. The vision of their husband, their leader, their so-called savior, had been destroyed. Christine stood first. Her voice trembled, but her eyes burned. You told us over and over that you were protecting us, but the entire time it was power, control, and now everyone sees it. Janelle followed, firm and composed. You can yell betrayal all you like, Kody, but you betrayed us before anyone leaked a single thing. Robyn cried openly, her head shaking as she whispered, how could you say that to me? To the kids? Her tears were not for the cameras. This time, they were broken, raw. And Meri, after years of quiet, finally let her truth pour out. She gazed at Kody, dead on, and whispered, This is who you've always been. We just didn't want to see it. Kody attempted to answer, but the words caught in his throat. For once, his charisma, his dominance, his booming presence, all of it was useless. He was a man undone, pinned down by his own voice, his own ego, his own destruction. The cameras continued to roll as, one by one, the wives rose, leaving him alone in that room. Christine went first, her steps firm. Janelle followed, solid and determined. Meri hung around long enough just to glance back, and then she walked away. Even Robyn, shaking and sobbing, left him alone in the room. And when the door closed, silence was so loud, Kody collapsed into the chair, burying his head in his hands. For the first time, he was not in charge of sister wives. He was not the confident patriarch. He was not even the victim. He was merely alone. It was the moment that millions had been waiting for. The day Kody Brown's image finally fell apart under the pressure of his own statement. When the episode concluded, fans blew up on social media. Some remarked that justice had finally been delivered. Others lamented what the family had lost. And from sea to shining sea, Americans sat in stunned silence, knowing they hadn't simply watched reality television. They'd seen the downfall of a man who'd once been invincible. Would Kody ever be able to recover? Or was it the end of the sister wives dynasty? And now I want to know from you. After all we've learned, do you think Kody deserves forgiveness? Or has his fall been a long time coming? Leave your comments below, because this tale is far from over.